that is cocaine I'll be buying. Do you understand? So let's talk about the business of this thing. Who are the gatekeepers of this business?
Okay,
and how can we fight it from that angle?
If you are going to talk about the business of drugs, I will not use Nigeria. I will use a popular country.
Mexico?
Yeah, not Mexico. The other one, where
Cuba.
Where this guy came from. What's his name again?
Escobar.
Escobar. Okay. You know, now, they used to say cocaine is a millionaire's game. So it's not for the poor people.
Yeah.
Okay, unfortunately in Nigeria, what we see are these boys at the bus stops, these area boys and all that smoke, they're breaking bottle and whatever. But I'll tell you, if you go to our 5-star hotel right now, there are top men right in those hotels, blowing the pipe, you know, using bunkers and whatever, spending dollars. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so it's $1 million business. Okay, we also know how powerful Escobar became in Mexico.
Yeah.
So much that even politicians
We're afraid of.
they were afraid. Why? He could fund them. And you know the game of politics. The game of politics is money.
Yes.
Okay, I want to run. I don't have money.
Election.
You are a baron. You are ready to pump money into my whatever.
Campaign. I'll give you free reign.
I give you free reign. Okay. I promise you, if I come into power, you are secured. Do you understand? I mean, these guys they are catching at the airport with $1.something billion. Are they the one that finance the business? No, they are just they are just carriers. They just carriers.
They're
Do you
pawns,
understand what I'm
actually.
saying? Okay? So the real people are not being arrested and whatever. So it still boils down to corruption. It still boils down to, you know, people thinking too much about money and power, you know, and they don't care whether people's lives are being destroyed.
You know what? Let's just take a very short break. We'll just go out and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we're having an amazing chat with Keji. Hopefully, we'll be able to find Ebelechukwu back on curbing the high rise of illicit drugs in Nigeria. Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So, I think we have Ebele. Ebele, are you back?
Yes, I've been back a long while.
Oh, wow. Oh, sorry. I wasn't notified. So please just quickly run us through what is happening in the East, because we saw that report. It was quite alarming for us. And, you know, what exactly and how do we even start to curb this menace?
I think in the East, we've been able to come to terms that this is a scourge. This is like a plague. And if urgent drastic measures are not taken, this scourge is likely to consume us all. Bearing that in mind, away from all the grammar and beautiful talks, in the East here, we've been able to, you know, in our very localities, little hamlets, in the villages, in the towns, come up with ways some people might disagree with. But I guarantee you it has been so far so good, been very, very effective in reducing drastically the intake of these drugs. And yeah, that's it. For example, here we'll get people, tie them to the poles, you know, flog and shame them. A lot of people has come out to say this is not the best practices, and this won't even get any desired result. But I am seeing this having desired results, and that is easily accessible even to teenagers, if not toddlers. They access it as easily as one can access vitamin C. It means that some gatekeepers, people who are supposed to make sure that our streets are not littered with drugs, have compromised. They have really, really compromised. And we have no option than to do whatever we can to help ourselves and save our future. Because the youths are the greatest asset of every society. If you want to see a society that will make it great, just you don't need no soothsayer, just look at their youth. If their youths are focused, if their youth are hardworking, they are resoap. But if their youths are wayward, come on, then it means that society is definitely going down the drain. I welcome everything.
Can you hear me?
Everything.
Okay,
Yeah,
Ebelechukwu, can I pause you for a minute? I'm still in shock that you think fighting drug use means you have to tie them to a pole. I want to be sure I heard you correctly. You tie them to a pole and you flog them. Is that a solution?
You heard me perfectly well and unapologetic about this because, I want to tell you something. I've been for 3 years now. We've been blowing grammar, speaking English about all these things. Come on. And of course, we also have to look at this way. All the tobacco companies, they'll tell you smokers are liable to die young and stuff like that. People still smoke themselves to hell. Of course. And it's not going down anytime soon. Now, let me tell you something. I kept saying, listen to me. I kept saying that the solution to Africa's problem must be indigenous. The way Americans fight drug abuse is might, or is definitely not going to work here. So the sociology is what apart. And I've seen this thing, and it is working. I've seen a lot of people.
I like to, but let me bring in someone that has been through 15 years of drug addiction.
I'll listen to him.
Hold on, let me bring him in. He's been Keji was involved in drugs for 15 years, and for 27 years now he's been helping people come out of drug addiction. Can tying to a pole and flogging solve any problem that has to do with drug use?
Now let me put it like this: if a drug abuse advocate hear you say this,
wow,
there's going to be issue.
Absolutely.
Okay. Number two, when you tie them and you flog them, remember, I said people go into drugs because of psychological problem. Tying them to a pole and flogging them is another level of psychological problem. It's another level because you are reducing them to animals.
Absolutely.
It's not acceptable. Now, how do you get people out of drugs? We have two ways. There is the psychotherapy, or what we call the talk therapy, where the addict goes through counseling.
Yes.
It's professionalism. I have run a rehab as a project director for 12 years now. For those 12 years, I've seen about 220 drug addicts set free. Some back to school, some working, some are married, some are in ministry. We don't flog, we don't tie down. A drug addict, every drug addict at a point knows that he wants to stop. The problem is that when drug addiction has taken over the reward system of your brain, you don't know how to stop. You can't help yourself. So what we do is that before we can admit you, we must find out if you need help. Because let me tell you, tie them to stake, flog them.
Still find a way.
Okay. By the
Makes no
time you
difference.
release them,
You go back.
there's what we call relapse.
Yes, and
They
it
are
will be
gonna
worse.
relapse.
It will be bad.
So, somebody actually called me, somebody at Stanbic, when this report came out, an Igbo guy. He knew when I registered Global Center for Drug Eradication 2012. So he was saying, what do we do in the East? There are some youths, whatever. What do you think we can do? And I told him we're going to talk about it. What you need, sir, is collaboration to set up mega drug rehabilitation centers.
Across the board.
Then we are able to train workers and staffs. It will first of all provide job opportunities for people, rehab, okay? And then it will be a decent place where people are talked out of drugs. So psychotherapy talks people out of drugs. There are people that don't need to go to rehab. There are a couple of people that I just sat down, especially students, and I talked to them. one-on-one counseling for 2 months, twice every week. And before you know it, one of the days they just come and start crying that I didn't know that this thing is strong. I'm not going to do it again. Okay? Then those ones have not gone too deep. There are those that have gone too deep that will tell you, I don't know what to do. Then we ask, do you need help? Or are you coming because your mom says you should come? Or you say, no, I am tired. We ask them, what's your problem? You say, I am not progressing. I say, what do you think caused this? You say, I know it's because I'm taking drugs. So do you want to stop? Yes, okay. I'm going to help you, but I need your help too. You give me 100% cooperation. And that's all. We admit them into the rehab.
And begin
3 months.
Sessions with them.
Ours is a faith-based rehab. Most rehabs in America is not faith-based. They give them certain medications. This one, we allow the drugs to get out of your system. A form of detoxification, naturally. Okay? Then after detoxification, we go to the second stage, where we start to build their mind. Because a drug addict has a negative mindset. Number one, a drug addict believes that he's the only one that exists. Number two, he doesn't care about any other person, whether you are feeling pain. Number three, everybody must give him money, whether you like it or not.
do anything.
You can do everything. Everybody must support me. So we now talk them out of that. Then after that, those who can go back to school, go back. Those who can go back to school that have advanced in age, we take them to go and learn skills.
Let me pause you there and just, I want to come back to Ebelechuku. Ebelechuku, the young people in your community, right? How are they engaged? Because you see, another thing that causes this menace to grow bigger is joblessness. A lot of people are just there on the streets, not doing anything. So what is the situation in terms of engagement for these young people? Because even if you tie them to a tree and tomorrow they're sitting down not doing anything, they'll still go right back. Sure. So what are you putting in place for that?
Okay. Before I will go back to that, I believe I was cut short because I know what I'm saying. I've seen these steps. I've seen the steps we are taking give us massive results, massive, awesome results. And like I said, this is a sociological thing. Before we embark on this, we've tried numerous approaches. Sending people to rehab, spending a whole lot of money. Most times they come back and relapse into disuse. And I've seen many people who are empowered through various youth empowerment schemes. Let me tell you something. Last August, that's a few months away from today, we gathered a lot of these youths who keep on saying that they are doing drugs because they are not gainfully engaged. We took most of them to acquire some sort of skills. Some learn how to barb, some learn welding, and some other things. Well, it is heart-wrenching that after committing so much energy and resources, 60% of these people went back to sell all the instruments and equipment they were set up with. It is heartbreaking, it is heart-wrenching. There, it takes you back. We have something, we have this thing we say in Igbo, when you catch a thief, he or she will start begging and say, this is my first time. Addicts will always want to resort to self-pity, to elicit pity. Addicts will always do that. And mind you, I've seen KG now talk a lot about negative influence, where we have the celebrities and whatnot celebrating drugs. In Anambra here, it is even worse because almost 60% of upcoming artists, upcoming artists have nothing to sing about but glorify drugs. It is a menace. I'm telling you, glorify drugs. It is a menace. And we are faced with two menaces. Trying to discourage toddlers into coming into this. And I must be frank with you, there are addicts who have been lost, who are totally lost. They don't want to be saved, and you can do nothing about them. We cannot continue indulging them.
Thank
We
you.
cannot.
Let's
You
take some.
asked me
Let's
a
take some
question. You
comments.
asked me a question. Okay.
Sorry, let's take some comments quickly. Somebody on Instagram says, "Go ahead."
Yeah, so I have this one from Bobby Kennedy in Jalingo, Taraba State, and he says, "This deadly scourge of drug abuse amongst our youths is alarming, and if some drastic action is not taken to cut down these menace, then we don't know. I weep for the youths that are growing up in Nigeria. In fact, some have taken drugs as a lifestyle. We must put on eagle's eyes on our kids, please. God help us all." That's from Bobby.
Curbing the high rise of illicit drugs in Nigeria. This is from Isaac Olatunde Olubowale. He says, curb the merchants of illicit drugs, then we will be on the right track of dealing meaningfully with the problem. Thank you.
Yeah, so drug taking deceived a blood-hungry cop to sniff out a young man, Oliver Ezra, in Jalingo last week. When the cop was nabbed, 2 wraps of Indian hemp was found in his pocket. It's just terrible.
Go and learn a job or whatever. You must
when
first
they
of
have
all
not
get him
been
out of drugs.
rehabilitated.
That's the first thing. Get them out of drugs. Number 2, you don't send a drug addict to a rehab. The drug addict tells you,
I'm
tired,
ready.
I am ready. Okay? Because if you send him without him saying, I am ready, it's a waste of energy. It's going to be a waste of resources. On the 18th of December, I'll be in Umuahia. There's a young boy that was on drugs, a bishop's son from the east, that I took into the rehab 4 years ago. He dropped out of school. As I speak with you, he went back to school. He graduated, and he went to the Bible school, got another degree, and then he's the director of a Montessori school right there now, and he's getting married.
Wow.
Clean, I can give you numbers. So, what I'm saying is this. What that guy commented, I've always said that. I said, it is not the drug user that is the problem. It's the people selling and buying. But when you decide to stop the people buying and selling, you discover that they are the people that you cannot step on. That is the issue on
That's the
ground.
problem.
So it is deep. There are people you can't step on. There are people in charge. But until that is done. So if you kill a product, then there'll be no problem. If drug is not available, people won't smoke. But drugs are everywhere in Nigeria.
Very true.
I'm not sure you read in the papers a few weeks ago how they said some Mexican cartels are the ones sponsoring methamphetamines laboratories in Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Did you see that article? So what are you talking about? It's everywhere. All right? So deal with those merchandising it, okay?
And you call
Help those who are using it.
And prevent others
And prevent others from going in. So it's 3 ways. Prevent others. Prevent, in all of this, the government should be involved. The government should be involved.
Yeah, because
You can imagine, I offer myself to be going to schools to teach. Some years ago, my state government gave me permission to go to schools. They say for 2 years, I will renew the paper. After 2 years, I came back. They just withdrew the paper. I can't go. There are some schools that don't want to see me, but there are some that want to see me. Okay?
Ebele, let me come to you. Flogging and tying people to poles. God help us. Drug abuse is a really big problem. This is from someone from, I think, May 4 Cat Mary from Instagram. Ebele, if you had one thing to say to the young person in the Igbo community right now, what would you be saying? You know, how would you address this? How can we move forward from here? Quickly, in 1 minute.
I will simply say drug kills. And again, to discourage the use of drugs, if you don't want to be publicly shamed and flogged, then don't do drugs. We have to be mindful of the fact that we don't have to make this thing rosy. We have to discourage toddlers who look out up to celebrities celebrating drugs. When they see how addicts are treated, they won't even go into drugs first because they don't want to get treated that way. So it's also a serious preventive measure. We are looking at all these things being equal. It's a drastic measure.
We need to bring you back. Ebele, I like the fact that you are standing your ground on this shaming. But you see, you can only shame. I keep saying that you cannot shame the shameless. Somebody, no, because that's my anybody that knows.
If you think they are shameless, you are yet to see the way we treat them. If you're shameless, we go manufacture shame and put it on you. And you become so shame. I'm telling you what we are doing. What is giving us so much results?
Okay.
I see.
I would like, you know what, Ebele?
I'm coming.
Behind
I see
cameras.
Hamilton. Okay.
Behind cameras, I would like to see the measure of your success. You know, we'll need to bring you back. This one is just the beginning. It's part one. We just started a love relationship, me and you. We're going to bring you back. I want to really see, when you say you are measuring success, I want to see how successful this is.
Of course.
With stories to back it up.
You see a whole lot and you'll be shocked.
No problem. Thank you. Ladies, do you want to have, we have like 1 second to go.
This is something that needs to be dealt with.
Absolutely.
And with all level of seriousness, and hopefully we'll be able to do something about it in Nigeria.
Easy, quickly.
It has been a mind-blowing experience today, and I've learned a lot in the process. And one thing that I can agree with, I don't agree with the fact that you have to flog, but I agree with the fact that, you know, you have to use draconian methods. And I think that's what Ebele is talking about.
Sure.
And we also have the soft method that can also work for individuals who are willing to actually make that change. And mindset. If I'm ready to change, then I can let go of drugs.
So quickly, you have one minute. Keji,
This is what I say to addicts. You can't kill drugs. Drug always kill.
Yes.
At the end of the day. So don't do drugs. You can't kill drugs. Drug always kill. Everyone taking drugs, go and do a medical checkup of your system. You'll be shocked. There might be something wrong with your liver. There might be something wrong with your lungs. There might be something wrong with your kidney. There might be something wrong with your heart. And even your brain.
It eats.
Yes.
You know what? So on that note, on that very sober note, we'll need to bring Ebele and Keji back. This cannot stop. So do ensure you follow us on Instagram. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Ebele. Thank you, Keji. Do ensure you follow us on Instagram, drop a comment, and more importantly, we have started a giveaway to say thank you to you for believing in the Ways brand and following the conversations. I don't know if you have anyone that is into drugs or is addicted to alcohol or whatever. Reach out to us. We'll link you up to Keji, you know, so he can help you out. Please ensure you follow us on Instagram to grab all the goodies up for grabs. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. The mentality and behavior of drug addicts and alcoholics is wholly irrational until you understand that they are completely powerless over their addiction, and unless they have structured help, they have no hope. This is the fact that flogging and all those things might not work because they are helpless, right? We need to find a structured way to help. Now, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on PlusTV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408, or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Welcome. Family values in an African setting. How do we behave? How do we know how to be with each other? Who teaches us to be kind? How do we learn about discipline? My sisters and I will be talking about this in a moment. Hold on, don't go away. So our values. Welcome, sisters.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming. Family, traditional families, our values of today. And these values that we have.
Setting is multi-language, multicultural, multi-ethnic. So when you're talking about how do we behave, we have to talk about in what area, what land, what state.
But does
because
it
how
change?
it does change, because when you're talking about greeting in the typical Yoruba home, the way we greet is different from how we greet when you are from the southeast. It's different from how you greet when you are from the north, and it's different from how you greet when you are from another outside of Africa.
Yeah.
And we are trying to modernize without losing our roots. So there's a lot of confusion in what should I do? Should I say hi to mommy or should I kneel down?
Courtesy.
Should I curtsy? I'm going into politics today. Should I be able to debate my contemporary, supposedly, and he's about 20 years older than me? In a typical traditional setting, I mean, I'm supposed to step back. He's older than me.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to tell him that he's lying if he is lying. So we are looking at so many things that we are fighting a lot of battles. Am I trying to am I trying to modernize, or should I, be the typical African?
So let me go over to Fumi and ask her, do you think that we're breaking the mold? Do you think our values have changed? How is it impacting our society? What do we see manifest?
I like it when you mention the fact that respect is a value, not exactly the frills and the house. And when it comes to values, I see no reason why what we term the African values need to give way to modernity. I believe that there is a chance to overlay modernity and civilization on what is intrinsically our values without losing those values. The problem is that in our attempt to chase civilization, we end up exchanging cultures. That's the biggest problem we seem to have. And it's very different now in the 21st. It's become very different. Yeah. And the reason we're losing it is because without thinking, we're exchanging cultures. We are leaving behind what were very strong value systems that the African, the issue of respect, the issue of a group as a group, and what we owe each other.
Community
the
sense.
loyalty,
Yes.
the community
Yes.
sense. You know, somebody was talking the other day about raising children. They said the village used to raise the children.
Yes, not anymore.
And not anymore. Because even modern mothers say, don't talk to my child. Yes. So it is the challenge, I believe, Rosie, is overlaying modernity, civilization on our values without exchanging our culture for another's.
Come to think of it, as you said that, I just remembered growing up, you know how after school, you're allowed to play with other kids, and then somebody's mother sees you doing something and says, come here, come and kneel down, don't ever do that again. Now, you don't try that with anybody's child, because they'll be like, if my child does something, please tell me. I will correct my child the way I want to correct my child. Yes. The way you treat your child is different. If I want to slap, I don't slap my own children. That's what someone will tell you. Yeah. So please don't slap my child. Or if you slap my child, don't deafen my child. So they've made it so difficult for people. So now if I see someone's child doing the wrong thing, I'll probably just say, like, okay, for instance, I went somewhere recently and I felt like a lot of children, it was a group of children, and then none of them said thank you. I was taking things out of a cooler, and then someone said, and did you notice that none of those children actually said thank you? But I couldn't even say, say thank you, just so that a parent is not offended. So I'm like, please, if it's my own child, tell them to say thank you. But I understand that maybe people are trying to strike the balance of don't slap my child and deafen the child. However, please, but no, I mean, I work in children's church, and then people say things like, if my child, okay, you know when you come in and then they have to ban you, and then someone says, please, my child doesn't like it, don't do it. We're banning this child so that nobody takes your child. So so you're forgetting the essence of the reason why you're doing this, and then just because your child doesn't want it, I can't even try growing up. My mother will tell me, are you okay?
That's the community culture, being eroded right
It's
there.
being eroded.
Right there.
Sumi,
Yes.
what do you think, looking at it from your perspective?
Well, from my perspective, personally, family-wise, I think I had good values growing up, but then I recognized when I was in school that values at home and values from other people's home were quite different. That was why some of my peers would deem it fit to say some certain things that they were not supposed to say or felt it was normal to say. Like in my